So, what's the point of a short term service trip? You know, those groups that go from churches down to build a building or do all sorts of stuff in the streets. And I mean, are they really accomplishing anything? Is this a waste of funds or what's the point? So, I got into this discussion, sort of a discussion, on one of the social media networks a couple weeks ago about basically this lady had run into this group with all matching shirts from her church that was on their way to a Latin American country, and she was really upset because they were coming down to waste their time and waste their money when they could just send money instead and have other people do it. And what's the point? And had several people that weren't real keen with my answer, because I said, really, they're not going down there to do this great stuff. They're doing something else. So what are they doing? I mean, honestly, if we're being straightforward and honest, if you're constructing a building, unless this is a team of construction experts and engineers, no, they're not going to do as effective a job as the locals will, and they're going to cost a lot more money doing it. If you're wanting to just build a building and that's all you're after, then a group coming from the United States out to another country is not the most efficient and effective way to do it. If you're wanting to bring people into churches in the local area, having a team from outside the country is probably, again, not the most effective way to do it, especially when they don't speak the language. So, why do we do these things? Aren't they just a huge, colossal waste of money and superior American attitudes and all this? Well, no. There's actually a number of very good reasons for these groups. And accomplishing a building project or something like that isn't it. So, one of the things that a lot of people may not realize is we kind of get into a bubble wherever we are living. Our own culture, our own people, our own stuff. And we get very used to that. So, how do you get people thinking outside of their bubble, being aware of what is going on? Well, one of the best ways to do it is to simply go to get out of your bubble and go to this place. You want to understand a country. What better way is there to do it than to go there and do it? You want to learn about a people, you want to learn about a language, you want to learn about a culture, go. You want What I had to kind of laugh at with these people that were upset, where they're like, they really need to understand us, they need to love our people and love our culture, and yet that's exactly what they were coming to do, was to learn about the people and the culture and to love on them, and they were getting attacked for it. And I was kind of going, do you not see the opportunity you're missing? You want them to know about you and your culture? Well, here's your chance. That's why they're there. So it's a great opportunity to break out of the bubble and see things from a new perspective, understand a little bit more, and broaden your horizons. The other thing that these really do is they teach people to serve. Instead of expecting everybody to wait on them, instead of just throwing money at a problem, they actually become part of it. And they learn that, if I want to see something done, rather than just throw money away or ignore it, I can do something about it. I can become involved in it. I can take a little bit of ownership of it, and I can help to see it done. And then it means more. It's more important, whether it's that short little project or whether it's something bigger. When they see a greater need, they go, hey, wait a minute. I've been there. I know this. And it doesn't just translate to serving and helping there, but even back home. You know what? I've learned that I can live without this item, or it's okay to be inconvenienced a bit and help other people. One of the greatest ways that people learn to help and serve and do good and show compassion for others is, again, by doing it. And sometimes it means getting out of your normal routine and your normal place and out of your comfort zone and going to do it. That's a great advantage of these service trips. And one last thing, those who actually work in these fields, okay, again, being honest, having a large group come to wherever you're working and to do all this and to coordinate it and set up a place for them to sleep and food and other activities, it's a lot of work. And What you technically get out of it may not be very much. You may end up putting in a whole lot more work than you get back. So, why? Because the greatest place for people to learn about this kind of work and then to desire to go to other places and work comes from these short trips. Putting it in Christianese terms, the people who are willing to go serve other cultures, to help other countries and other nationalities, to sacrifice their own comfort, and to go do something short or long term, starts at these types of trips where they begin to learn about other cultures, they learn what it's like to serve, they learn what it's like to work, and then they grow and fall in love with them. So, yeah, it's easy to write off these things. Well, why don't they just throw the money in and go on a vacation? There is a good portion of these trips that really are a vacation with a service and work orientation and opportunity in it. Not only do they get to go play and see the sights and culture, that is part of it, but they also get an opportunity to learn the needs, the problems, the areas that they do need help and assistance, and to actually get hands on and do something about some of it. To actually get to know the people outside, not just to read a book. Oh, gee, what's the newspaper say, or what's this book say about them? They actually have a personal contact, a personal connection. It goes beyond the media reports. They're not just getting a slanted, one-sided thing, but they have an opportunity to see what's really there. When they go home, it's not just, oh, I read about it somewhere. It's, man, I was there and here's this experience. To give you an example, many years ago, we actually took our kids on a trip to Costa Rica. We were there for 2 weeks. We spent a week on vacation and then a week serving and helping and working with an organization there, helping with the children at this big meeting and going out and doing a number of other things. My kids will tell you that that trip changed their life. They still have memories of walking around the streets of San Jose, of seeing the people that are there. Yes, we have homeless and poor here in the States, but you tend to focus past them and not see them a lot of times. And all of a sudden they were seeing them in a different culture, and it made them aware not just of the issues there, but even of the problems back here at home. And what could they do about it? And how could they help it? And what can they do to change? So not only do we want to help these people here, man, now I'm more aware of what's back home as well, and how can we help them? It changed their perspective from just their local one to a more global perspective and a greater awareness of what was around them and the needs both in Costa Rica and at home, and a willingness to step up and say, hey, I was able to do something there, I can do something here. And I've loved that change in my kids that started because of a short-term service trip. It was just a week, really, and then a week of vacation. They had that opportunity to change their perspective. And then they did it a couple other times. And it's why my kids have continued to do this, because it's an opportunity to broaden their horizons, to broaden their awareness, and to get hands-on in helping where there is a need. And it turns into a greater, longer-term deal. If you talk to people who work in other countries, who serve in other countries, who do ministry in other countries, ask most of them, where did you get started? And a very large percentage of them will say, it started on this short-term trip, this short service trip that I went on. That's where it begins. And not everybody who goes on these trips ends up working out of the country, but almost all of them will have their perspectives change, and they will be more aware. Short-term service trips have a huge purpose and a huge point, and it's not to go down and fix where they're going. It's to grow them. They just don't realize it when they're going on the trip. Where does the biggest change in a short-term service trip come from? It's not where they went. It's in the people who went. And that ends up being a longer term and a much greater change overall. So, what's my advice? If you see a need and you have an opportunity to go, sure, you could throw money at it, but it's not going to mean anything to you. Go. Let your life be changed and learn and see other perspectives and other cultures, and it will change you. I promise you, it will. Thanks. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it as well. Please don't hesitate to leave them in the comments. Even if you disagree with me, that's okay. I'll be happy to agree to disagree, but I would love to hear those as well. So please share them. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button too and share the video. Thanks so much. God bless.